Hello, I'm Professor Boardway with MBA Educational Horizons, and the purpose of this video is basically to describe the services and products that my company offers regarding the architectural registration exam offered by NCARB. And let's see, we've been doing this probably close to 30 or 35 years, and we have a pretty good feel for what NCARB is asking and how to best answer the questions in the exam. And keep in mind that this exam is pretty much theoretical, so it doesn't have too much to do with you or the way you practice or your experience. It's more textbook knowledge. So when you read a question in the exam, it's good to ask yourself, where are they coming from, what contract or what document or whatever, because that's where I need to go with my answer. It's not so much my experience, the individual's experience. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind about this exam. It's mostly a non-residential exam. It is AIA contracts as well, commercial project, that type of thing, medium to large scale project. And you do need to go into this exam with the understanding that you are the principal of a firm, running probably about 50 people in the office or something like that. Okay. So once you get the ground rules down, then it's a matter of knowing how to respond to the questions in the exam. Okay. So there are different types of question types, of course, in the exam. There's the single select answer, which is still around. Check all that applies, at A and B, B and C, all the above, none of the above, that type of thing, which is least likely, which is most likely, so they'll ask you those types of questions. Fill in, so you actually have to respond with an answer. Hot spots, which is kind of a new type of question, came out about 2 years ago. Click on the area where flashing needs to occur or something like that in a detail, for example, or where should the exiting be occurring on this floor plan or something like that. And then drag and place, they'll give you some icon elements and you put a detail together or something like that. So it's drag and place is another way we respond in this exam. And then there's also case studies. So case studies, basically, they will give you some data to review and then ask you a series of questions regarding that data. It could be code sections, parts of a general plan, or whatever it happens to be. So kind of the best way to do that is work with your word search on the question. A good way to approach is just go to the questions right away and then go to the data for your answer, instead of reading all the data and you might spend time reading information that you're not questioned on. So it's good to kind of go to the question and then go back to the data to get the answer type of thing on case studies. It does take a little longer than most other questions, so sometimes candidates will go right to those first. Usually they're at the end of the exam. Okay, something like that. But anyway, so services I have to offer would be offering seminars throughout the United States. I think we're in about 15 different states right now. And you can always look on our website for the schedule and where we're going to be. We do need a minimum of attendees to make the seminar work, so I think we usually just ask for about 12 or 15 in each section of the exam, and then we're good to go on that. So we do 6 individual seminars over a period of 2 days. In California, for example, we do it on Friday and Sunday, and then on all the other states we do it on Saturday and Sunday. And we go from 9 in the morning until about 8 in the evening. So it's a full day, but we have breaks and dinner, lunch and dinner in there as well. So, it's not a continuous burnout, so to speak. But anyway, so for example, the schedule would be, we start off with practice management from 9 to 12 in the morning, and then we take a lunch break and then come back 1 to 4. We do project management, take a dinner break, come back, and then we do programming and analysis from 5 to 8. And then that would be the first day. And the second day, which would end up being on Sunday, would be starting off again 9 to 12, project planning and design, take a lunch break, come back 1 to 4, project development and documentation, and then take a dinner break, come back and do construction evaluation from 5 to 8. And so that takes care of the 2-day program as far as how we lay it out. There's also, so those are the seminars, and we have a pretty good success rate on the seminars. They're about 3 hours long, as you might know by the time I just mentioned, and we go through a lot of the meat of material, but I talk about test-taking techniques as well in those sessions, so everyone kind of is on the same page in taking the exam. I also offer teleseminars. If you can't make the seminar, then we have teleseminars either by phone, and we give you the code number ahead of time, and then that way you lock into the conference. And I usually allow about 5 to 7 people at the most on those teleseminars. And there is a place where you can push a button and raise your hand, and then I'll cue you in, and you can ask the question, and everybody can hear it, you know, that type of thing. So teleseminars if you can't make the seminar, the live seminar. And then also tutoring, which is kind of popular. My time really goes fast on tutoring. Everyone, likes the tutoring because it's one-on-one. It's just me and you, the candidate, and we go through and I kind of understand your strengths and weaknesses and adjust my talk accordingly, based on your absorption ratio as a function of how fast and how much information I can give you as well. It's always nice to review the materials which are included in the seminars and the teleseminars and the tutoring, the booklets on each of the 6 subjects. It's good to review those ahead of time before we do the tutoring, so that way your absorption ratio is much higher, and then we can get more focused on the subject. And I do tutoring in the days or in the evenings as well. Okay, and so we try to take the first part of the week. Sometime Tuesday or Wednesdays are good days to do tutoring, but it has to be a convenient schedule for you as well as myself, to make sure that we can keep you on track and on focus. And while I'm thinking about it, exam momentum is very important. So whenever you come to a seminar, a teleclass, a tutor, or whatever, it's good to do that, prepare, and then take the exam. Okay, I would not wait any time, put any time in there. Some people will do tutoring with me and then a couple of months later take the exam and they're off focus, and so it's good to have the exam momentum going, especially if you have more than one subject, to do that. Normally we should prepare about 3 weeks for each subject. The candidate should allow about 6 to 8 hours a week, which translates to about 25 hours, maybe 30 hours in preparation per subject. All right, and allow yourself like 3 weeks to do that, and then on the 4th week go in and take the exam, and then go on to the next subject. So if you have more than one subject, then you should take 1 exam a month, and this should be a review. So whether you grandfathered in or whether you went to the university and got your degrees and so on, that's fine. This should be a review, not a whole, an 18-week course again. So anyway, so tutoring is important, is good if you can't make it. We just one-on-one, we use Skype, FaceTime, phone, whatever you're comfortable with. And of course we send the materials to you ahead of time, and then you've got those to look at as you and I are talking, Also, coaching is another service I offer. The purpose of the coaching is to keep you on track and focused. So sometimes our schedules get so carried away that it's hard to stay on track and, I'll study when I get around to it type of thing. But anyway, so coaching idea is to keep you focused. So we talk at the beginning of the week and the end of the week. And now I leave this up to the candidate to call me, okay, on a predetermined time. And then we talk and say, how you're doing, any questions on the materials, that type of thing, that you might have. Okay, so coaching is to keep you on track, okay, keep you focused. I also do consultation, okay, and sometimes somebody will say, I just need an hour of of your time, Professor Boardway, to talk about the strategies of taking this exam, that type of thing. And we don't really go into a lot of the meat of the material in consultation, but I'll talk, I'll give you overall general strategies and techniques on taking the exam. So we've got that going on as far as consultation goes. The materials that I offer also are videos and they're about 2.5 hours, sometimes there's 3 hour long videos of me in a studio, and I'm going through my notes, and we're looking at the booklets and so on, which you do have to purchase in addition to the video. Sometimes candidates will just do a home course study. They just want the materials. They don't want the tutoring or the consultation or seminars or any of that, which is fine. So you order the video, and then you have to order the materials to look at. Because in the video, I'm looking at my booklet and materials, and I'm referring you to that. So you do need to have the materials in addition to the videos or the audios that we offer. Okay. So I have a booklet on each of the exam subjects. I also have written a book. It's called How to Pass the ARE Exam, and you can look on our website for that as well. On our website, we also have specials. Okay, now we have 3 popular specials. One is called the Procrastinator Special. Not to be facetious, but that's just kind of, most architects are procrastinators. We just have to accept that so we can do something about it, You can't do anything about it unless you accept it first. Anyway, so Procrastinator Special includes 2 hours of tutoring. Now, in that 3-week time frame, we decide a convenient time for both of us when to do the 2-hour tutor session. Okay, and that's on that one subject. It also includes 3 hours of coaching. So again, coaching at the beginning of the week and the end of the week. Okay. So, and also includes a 2-hour video and audio in that package, the Procrastinator Special, and also 3 weeks of curriculum. So we're giving you a curriculum each week, and you follow that, or it's just suggested anyway. You don't have to follow it, but it's suggested way to prepare for the exam each week. And then also, of course, our booklet as well is included in that Procrastinator Special. So that's pretty popular, the Procrastinator Special. And with these specials, by the way, we have a pretty high passing rate as well. And so the other special, in addition to that, is called the Exam Buster Special. And this is basically the same thing as Procrastinator, but it's twice as much tutoring. So in other words, you have 2 2-hour sessions, okay, a total of 4 hours on each subject. And then you get the video and the coaching and the curriculum, my booklet. And then also I throw in my book on how to pass the exam, the ARE exam. Okay, so that's on the Exam Buster Special. And then the other one, the last one is called Classroom Special. And this basically is no tutoring. It's like a home course study, but it's like going to class at a school, at the university. So we do lay out 3 weeks of assignments that you have to do, and also curriculum as well. We send you numerous exam questions on that one subject, and then you send them back to me for grading. Okay. Also included is our 2-hour video and audio on that subject. So there's really no tutoring, no verbal audio interaction for the most part. But if you have questions, you can always call me, because this is what I do half the time. The other half the time I'm running my company. So I do keep busy. So Classroom Special is also very popular. So normally the candidate would prepare about 3 weeks and then go in on the 4th week and take the exam, and then we go on to the next subject if you have another subject to cover. Okay, what's the best strategy in taking this exam, I'm asked, and I usually respond to usually it's what you're involved with now, what you're strongest on now. It would probably be the one that you'd want to take. Okay. But the way the exam is laid out, it has practice management. The first is kind of the way that an office is laid out, and the way that an individual would properly practice architecture with good ethics and fiduciary responsibilities. I mean, fiduciary basically is I'm expecting you to be honest and legal. It's like an expectation, a legal expectation, fiduciary. Anyway, so pre-contractual tasks. So we do have to understand how to properly put a RFQ, request for qualification, an RFP, request for proposal together. If you want projects, how do you bring projects into the office? That type of thing. So most principals are out doing that. They're not, sitting there doing production. I mean, they're out bringing the projects into the office. That's their main job, and keeping the clients happy so they can come back for more returning business and recommendations. I mean, that's the two way you get business, right? Is return business and recommendations from someone to another company and such. So practice management, very important to understand what risks are out there and what risks not to take, and so on. What type of projects you're willing to take on. We want to have diversity. It's nice to be specialized in one type of thing, but it's nice to have diversity as well. And it would be diversity in types of projects that we do, and also in location, so perhaps out of the country as well. And so what type of practice methodologies are you using, in practice management? And project management, we go into talking about, consultation management, talking with the client, the best approaches to take, how to run a project, all the various phases involved with the project, the purpose of each phase, and interacting with the client and the consultants is very important as well. Developing a schedule that is realistic for you and for the client as well. We, for the most part, aren't on the client's schedule. When we take a project into the office, the client has to understand it's on our schedule. If they want to sit on the project after we completed it, that's up to them, that type of thing. So sometimes clients will ask you to put it on slow, or sometimes they'll say put it on 100 miles an hour. It's like, so, we have to take a look at working with the client's schedule as well. It's very important. Project management, managing a project, knowing the milestones, how often to meet, usually at the beginning of the week, not the end of the week. Setting up a schedule and a goal for that week. Any questions? Where are we at? Are we on schedule? Are we on budget? That type of thing. So managing a project, we go into all of that in that particular section of the exam. There's programming and analysis. And this is pretty much, if you ever hear the word programming, it basically means applying the data you've collected, okay? And so on a project, as you're bringing data in, assessing a community, the built environment, what's there, what's not there, what needs to be there, all that, right? And then we go through and we talk about that, and programming and analysis, contextuality, environmental issues, and the environment includes people, by the way, as far as cars and density and people and that type of thing as well. So we talk about that. Codes and regulations, we have to understand the planning and the zoning, which are two separate functions, by the way. Planning is environmental, zoning is restriction. I give names to departments that define their function, really. I call planning the environmental department and zoning the restriction department, and so on. Anyway, so but we do have to understand the codes and regulations and density issues, applying proper flow and analysis in a building so that you don't have conflicts in circulation and noise, and that type of thing inside a building. And then taking a look at the budget and the schedule as well, making sure we're staying on budget and schedule. So that would basically be the programming analysis. On project planning and design, we go into different alternatives and of design, keeping in mind that AIA's logic or definition of design is 3 phases, which would be schematics, design development, and construction document phase. So that's the design services an architect offers, by the way. But we go into behavioral patterns of the end users or the future tenants, which we should not have any relationship with, by the way, and then any type of technicalities that come into play as far as systems and things of that sort as well. But sustainability, green design, environmental design, they'll ask you these types of questions in this exam. So take a look at energy efficiency and solar systems and things of that sort, and sensors throughout the building, and photovoltaics and all of that. We go into all of that, and of course the systems as well. Keep in mind that according to NCARB and AIA, for the most part, the way the architect minimizes their liability is to only contract with the system consultants inside the building. Everyone else would contract with the owner. But the responsibility of the architect is to communicate and coordinate with all of the owner's consultants as well. So we need to coordinate their data with ours, okay? But they'll go into different mechanical, electrical, plumbing systems, acoustic, communication, lighting, security systems, fire suppression, all of that in this particular section of the exam as well. Okay, so project planning and design. Project development and documentation goes more technical. Each one of these sections of the exam asks you questions in a different level of depth. So you might see overlap, but as you get further into the exam sections, it's going to be deeper in context, you know, and types of questions and so on. So project development and documentation, again, we'll talk about the building systems and the materials and perhaps even the makeup of materials, concrete, wood, steel, masonry, and all of that. And of course the integration of the systems, further integration into the design development phase as well as the construction document phase. They call it project development and documentation. Project development would be the design development phase where we put all the systems together, make sure they work before we go into the next phase, which is construction documents, right? And so this section of the exam combines both of those phases for the most part. We'll talk about the what I call the big five, which are the drawing, specs, calcs, reports, cost estimation, the package that we put together for the project. And then the last section is construction and evaluation. So now we're into the construction phase of the project and all the services that the architect does in this phase of the project. You know, monitoring the project, make sure it's on schedule, budget and schedule, make sure that everything is being built according to the approved set of documents, and if it's not, then there's procedures we have to follow, right? So we'll have a pre-construction meeting and then introduce everybody, all the consultants and the consultants of the owners as well, and then we start doing our monitoring to the project during the construction phase. We call it observation. We don't do inspections, and so we go through and we take a look at the progressively doing site visits on the job site. So, I mean, AIA says that the architect needs to visit the site at intervals appropriate to the stage of construction. But I don't know what that means. It basically means that each project has different intervals. And so you agree with the client how often you will be at the job site and write that into the contract. So when in doubt, don't leave it out, spell it out. And that way, you know, it's all clear and so on, right? We'll talk about submittal samples and shop drawings and the responsibilities there, project closeout, you know, and that type of thing as well. So we go into all of that information, okay, in each of the sections of the exam, and so, but my availability is just not in those services. I go through and basically say that from the date you register, I'm available to you for questions and emails and so on, texting and whatever, for 12 months after that date or until you pass that section of the exam. That's the way that my service works. I don't think any other company or organization, individual offers that. But you can always go to our website, MBA, Mary Bravo Apple -architectural.com, and look at all the information that I'm talking about. And then, of course, our phone numbers and emails are on that as well. And if you have any other questions, just give me a call. All right? Okay, take care. Bye-bye.